What's going on, you guys? So today we are going to, excuse me. Um, okay, so let's let's remind ourselves of what happened. So last time we added the created at field to our tweets class. We made an number emojis database table, so that we can track how many emojis our list of authors are using in their weekly tweets. So today, our goal is to automate this. So every single week, our goal is to grab the tweets from Twitter, calculate the number of emojis in each tweet, update the number of emojis database, and do that every single week at the same time. So first goal is Airflow. We'll incorporate Docker if we have the time. And then after that, we'll look to see if we can deploy this to AWS. So today, main goal is to get this process automated with Airflow. So let's, what are we gonna do? Let's check out the Airflow documentation, see how we can apply that to our use case. Let me get a Chrome going here. Airflow. Okay. So let's go through the tutorial and let's apply what's going on here to our use case. The first question I have is, where do we want to place, where do we want to put our Airflow automation? Do we want to put it in source? Does that make sense? Maybe at the top level, right? Because we're grabbing stuff within our source. Maybe up here. Maybe that makes sense. Call it like Airflow scheduler. .py. Yeah, let's try it on the top level. That makes sense to me. Okay, so start off by copying what they got here. You can a nice little trick if you need to copy and paste. You can minimize your screen so it makes it a little easier to paste everything. Wow. And even still, I didn't get everything, but it is a little easier that way. Okay. Let's see what I missed. Blow it back up. I missed the date time. Okay. Okay. So this is what we got. Email start date 2 days ago. DAG. Okay, so let's go through this and let's apply this to our use case. Make this bigger for you guys so you can see it. So we've got two operators here. We've got save tweets, so call Twitter and save the tweets, and we've got calculate number of emojis, right? So save the tweets, calculate the number of emojis, and we want to do that on a weekly basis. So it looks like save tweets will run and then calculate number of emojis. Calculate number of emojis depends on the first one. So we can start with that. Okay. So let's leave this stuff. We can use the bash operator. DAG, we'll call it number of emojis. Default args equals default args. Okay, we'll just stick with the default for now. Description. Who uses the most emojis? interval, days, every 7 days. And we're choosing 7 days because Twitter's new API, so Twitter version 2 recent search, it only allows you to pull the last 7 days. I believe that's right. Can we find that info here? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe it's 7 days. Okay. Task ID. Okay, we don't need that. Save tweets. Bash command will be /. Huh. What are we gonna run? Okay, let's figure that out. What command? So the question is, what command will we use to invoke the save tweets? Okay, so vim source save tweets. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking, like, do we want to run? If we have a list of authors, we have a list of 5 authors. You know, we have to pull out this this variable, this author variable, right? So where do we want to put the authors? Do we want to put it within save tweets? That doesn't really make sense to me, right? Like if we just had an authors list here, it doesn't make any sense why authors would be inside save tweets. So do we want to put it in main.py? Hold on. Edit source main. This is very interesting. Yeah, let's keep it simple. We'll put it inside main, or inside save tweets. So we'll create an authors list, and you can put in the screen names of the authors whose tweets you'd like to save. So we're going to do, these are some screen names that I like to follow. You can choose whatever you like. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Diego Salvo. And who's the last one? Let's do Naval. Okay. For author in authors. we want to search each author and save their tweets. Okay, so how can we make that happen? So we need to update Twitter search so that it accepts a author input. Drink some coffee. Okay. Okay. So we're going to accept an author. We're going to make this an F string. This will be author. Self.author equals author. And then what else do we need to do? Hype Fury. Hype Fury will be self.author. And let's make sure that we're not messing up the order. Messing up the order of inputs to tweet. Because tweet expects ID, text, author, and created at. ID, text, author, and created at. Okay, cool. Is there anything else we need to do? That's the question. Let's do Paul G. We can test this. Okay. Source, Twitter search. Uh-oh. Invalid parameter. Oh, wait, let's see. We didn't give this the F. Okay. Let's try that again. That looks like it worked. Okay, cool. This tweet is from so it's UTC time. So it's hard to tell, like I can't convert UTC time to my local time. I'm not sure how to do that. But it looks like this is working. Cool. Okay. So we've added an input to the Twitter search. We're giving an author. So we're saying, hey, here's this author, Paul G. Give us all of his recent tweets. Okay. All right. So our first task will be save tweets. It's going to run through this list of tweets and save all those tweets to the database. Okay. Okay. So the bash command will be /source save tweets .py, and we're able to do that because we've made that executable. That's how we call it from the command line, right? Because we did like either Twitter search or save search.py. So we can call our Python file from bash. So I believe we can still use this bash operator, but we're going to test that and see. Okay. Task 2 is going to be calculate number of emojis. Depends on past. What is that? Depends on past. What is that? So what is execution date? So it looks like you specify a date. So it's, I guess execution date, it's when did you run, when did the task get run? That's what it seems like to me. Let me know in the comments if you think it's something different. Okay, so depends on past. What is that? Depends on past. Okay, what is backfilling? Everything. Depends on past. If the previous schedule hasn't succeeded. So let's say we start up our tweet gathering task here. 1 week it fails, right? And then it will not, the following week after a failure, it will not continue to run. That seems like what it means. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it means. Oh, oopsie. Airflow tutorial. Let's go back there. Depends. Oops. Liberally use that Control F to move around. Okay. So we're setting up calculate number of emojis. Depends on past. Do we want to give this true? Let's keep it false. Let's keep it false for now. And the bash command is going to be How do we call calculate emojis? That's the next question. So vim source calculate emojis. This does not take any input. It's summarizing an already available database. Okay. It's summarizing the tweets database, so we don't need to, there's no input required here. Do we make this executable? Let's make sure. Tree, calculate emojis. Yeah, that's executable, right? So tweet.py is not, and it's this white color. This green color means that it's executable. And we can check by doing lsl source calculate. Read writable executable, read writable executable, executable. So that means we can run it. We can go /source calculate. Yeah. Let's go like this. Home, echo. This is a way to save it to the clipboard, xclip, cell clip, vim airflow, depends. Okay. Okay. Retries. I don't think we need retries. Doc, task documentation. You can document your task using the attributes doc.md. Okay. We'll skip the documentation for now. Check, we'll say check source code if you're unsure of what is going on there. Okay, so we only have 2, so we can get rid of this third, and T1 is going to depend on T2. And why are we calling it T1 and T2 and not, man, my escape key is not working. Why are we calling it, like, why can't we just call it calculate number of emojis? Interesting. Can we schedule an execution date? DAG. Alright, so I want to get it to run for you guys right now. So let's clear out. So if we try and save tweets that are already saved in the database, it's going to give us an execution error and fail. So I'm going to empty out the database and run this anew so that we can see a success. So let's see, sudo tweets. What data tables are in there? Okay, so select count. What's the count? Star from tweets. Okay, so there's 10 within the tweets and number of emojis. There's 10 in there. Okay, so we are going to, let's pretend it's the first time. Drop table tweets. Drop table number of emojis. Okay. And let's see if we can run this right now. And then set up the schedule for it to run again a week from now. So how do we run it? That's the question. Wait, let's make sure. Vim airflow. Okay. Task 1, task 2. We've got our DAG. We're doing number of emojis. Who uses the most emojis? That's what we want to know. Okay, okay. What else? What else? Start date. Let's try 0. Wait, start date. Airflow, start date. Now what is that? Question is, what do we want to use for start date? Date time now. Python. Datetime now. Yeah, we want to do it now so you guys can see this working. Okay. Now. Let's try that. Oh, okay. So this works. Or we could do datetime dot now. These look to be the same thing. Now and today. Okay. Okay, so let's use datetime dot today, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna do, instead of this days ago, we'll do import datetime from datetime dot datetime import today. And this is going to be today. We could also do a task 3 that queries the database to see the results. Yeah, let's do that. T3 pSQL select. pSQL Q, I think. Man, pSQL. Yeah, so we're gonna do a third task that queries the database, so we can see what was the results. Query database, and we're going to use the pSQL command, pSQL Q, and then we have to figure out how to do that. Man pSQL. I believe it's Q for query. Quiet, no. Query. Oh, I've done this before. So the really nice thing about documenting your work is, like, if you do something before, you can just check out how you did it before, and then it's much easier to trust yourself and how you did it. So run.sh. This is a previous project I did. Get query output. That's what I want. Get query output. pSQL C. P-SQL stands for command. So C, so we're looking for -C. Command, okay. Specifies that P-SQL is to execute the given command string. This option can be repeated and combined in any order, but the -F, either C or -F is specified. P-SQL does not read commands from standard input. The question is, how do you log in with P-SQL? Interesting. Load file. How is this run? What calls main? Run.sh. DB login. Refresh DB. So if you paste this at the end, it looks like it will log in. Okay, let's try that. Okay, P-SQL command select star from tweets. Oh, what? Okay. And then we can give it a connection string. PostgreSQL. Postgres. That's our password. Now you guys know my password. At localhost 5432, and we're querying the tweets database. You have to give it a semicolon. Let's see what happens. Tweets does not exist. should exist. Oh, we dropped a table, that's why. Alright, so I believe this command will work though. So let's copy and paste that. Once there's actual data in the database, we can just call that. So vim airflow. And so what we're going to do there is what? We'll save that to bash date title. How do we get a title in a date format? Making the title of a directory the date. Date dash I. Date dash I. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. We can save this to date dash I dot underscore saved tweets dot txt. Okay, so now the question is, how do we got all these quotes, so how do we switch back and forth between them? I think we can escape them. I don't think we need these. We're going to save this to logs. So this is dirty. This is a little dirty. So we're going to try and do it in a dirty fashion first, and we can clean it up. Clean it up after that. Log tweets saved. And do we want to just grab them all, or do we just want to do a count? We can just do count. Because if the count is 0, then we know that so if the count doesn't change from week to week, then we can see that that week didn't work. Okay. I believe this is going to work. But we have to run it and find out. Okay. So we've got 3 tasks. Save tweets, calculate number of emojis, and log tweets saved. All right. Let's make the logs. Okay. So now what do we do with Airflow? How do we set up airflow? Let's go back to that tutorial. Okay. Instantiate a DAG. Tasks, we've done it. Templating, we don't need that. Don't need it. Setting dependencies. How do we run it? Time to run some scripts. First, let's make sure the pipeline is parsed successfully. Let's assume we're saving the code from the previous step in tutorial.py in the DAGs folder referenced in your airflow.cfg. The default location for your DAGs is... okay, so we need to save this to a different location. Now, alright, here's the issue. Now we're going to have to rename the commands that we run. Huh. We can do that. I mean, it's a little annoying. Okay. So we're going to call this emoji metrics scheduler, we can call this. Move airflow to emoji metrics scheduler.py. So we're going to need to update the location of the commands to call by appending this. So pw's x clip cell clip, that copies it to the system clipboard. Vim emoji metrics scheduler. Okay, so we're going to have to run a different command here. It's going to be okay, we're going to call this home. There. I believe that'll work. We can test that too. So we're going to do an F string. I'll put home in there. F home. Oh. We're going to close that in curly brackets. Okay. Logs. We're going to save that to home. /logs. Okay. Wait, what? Yeah. Make that a little shorter. Okay guys, first we want to check can we run this from a different directory? So let's try that first. So do we have that? Yeah, we do. Okay. So we want to run, so let's run that. Twitter search. Source. Huh. That doesn't work. Maybe, oh, because we're already in it. Okay. Hmm. Okay, cool. So we can run that from here. For some reason it's getting a little mad if we put a dot in front. We'll do the same. Oh, because the dot stands for current directory. Okay. So we don't need that dot, but it does work like that. Okay, cool. So we got rid of that dot. And looks like it should work. Let's try it. Let's move emojis to Airflow DAG, I guess. J Airflow. Tree DAGs. All right. Airflow list DAGs. Oh, underscore. What do we call this DAG? Number of emojis. Okay, where's our number of emojis? What? Oh, because we have to run it first. Okay. So let's do Python 3 DAGs emojis. Alright guys, cross your fingers. No. Datetime is not a package. Okay. So let's just, instead of being fancy here, we're just going to import datetime today. We're going to call datetime.datetime.today. Alright, so we're going to do this. Make it a little faster. And Python chmod plus x dags emojis. Dags emojis. Okay. Airflow list dags. Okay, there we go. Our number of emojis has been registered. Nice. Okay, what next? Data validation. Let's run a few commands. Okay. Print the list of tasks, the tutorial DAG ID. Airflow, list, tasks, number of emojis. Calculate tweets. Calculate number of emojis, save tweets, log tweets saved. So 1 should rely on 2, which should rely on 3. Did we get those? Did we misname those? T1, save tweets, T2, calculate number of emojis, 3, log tweets saved, T1 relies on T2, which relies on T3. Okay, good. Alright, what next? Airflow list tags, list tasks, Airflow list tasks, number of emojis. Just following along here. Tree. Okay, cool. So log tweet saved depends on calculate number of emojis, which depends on save tweet. Nice. Okay. Let's test. I don't want to test it, I want to run it. Airflow, web server, debug, in the background. What is backfilling? Everything looks like it's running fine, so let's run a backfill. Localhost 8080. I believe this is where the web server is. Maybe not. Okay, this is running. Yeah, it's on localhost 8080. And that's a little annoying. We're gonna create a new tab. J Airflow. Okay. airflow server. So now how do we run it? That's the question. And why aren't we able to access this? Maybe because we're not running a... Okay, so how do we run schedule airflow? What am I missing? How-to guides. Okay, so maybe we need to run the scheduler. Okay, so airflow scheduler. Okay, so now what? Why can't we see the... That's interesting. Localhost 8080. Airflow.cfg, vim airflow.cfg, our config. Okay. Maybe because the time I put in, yeah, maybe I need to translate my time to UTC. That might be the issue. Yeah, so it uses UTC time, so I think that might be the issue. Atlas, operators, airflow. All right. Ouch. Yeah. All right. big old file. Okay, so we're not able to look at this for some reason. The web server is not up. This development server, right? Where is it though? Where is it? Configure default time zone. Okay, so time in UTC. What time is it at UTC? Oh, okay, so we need to set. This is the time that we need to set. So, date time. So how do we get UTC time? Date time, UTC, Python. Python 3, import datetime. Datetime, dot datetime, that today. So this gives the current time. So I can just plug this in. Okay. Copy that. Exit. Let's turn off this server. Turn off the scheduler. Okay, let's change the time to now in UTC time. So now in UTC is now UTC. Oh, can we just get now UTC? So let's do it at like 6:25. All right. ls vim dags airflow emojis start date and we're gonna do 6 times 12 is 18 25. We'll just give it this, whatever this is. Okay, now how do we start it? Okay, so how are we going to start the DAG? So we've got our time. We've got it scheduled to run every 7 days. We've got saved tweets, saved number of emojis, and log tweets saved. We're going to call this log number of emojis. Okay, and that's going to write a log file in the logs folder within like where we were working on the code earlier. Actually, let's remove that just to make sure that it's going to work. Like if it works, we'll see that that file gets created. Okay, so T1 depends on T2, depends on T3. Okay, let's save that. Let's start up the server. So Airflow web server, and you can give it any port. I'm going to do 8081. Okay, that's running. Let's start the scheduler. Okay, and we want to open up the admin panel. Okay, and we're going to run number of emojis. There's this little button you can click here. So what is it? So on, does this mean use this toggle to pause the DAG? The scheduler won't schedule. Okay, so as long as our server and the scheduler are running and we turn this on, like next week, like if I have this on, if I just leave my computer on for a week, this will it'll schedule this to run a week from now. So I'm going to manually schedule it here. Trigger. Okay, triggered number of emojis. It should start any moment now. Graph view. Let's look at the tree view. Okay, so still running. Wait for that guy to run. Details. So it looks like save tweets ran. Oh, you know what the issue is? I think that it's going to run into the duplicate key error again. Let's see. I'm not seeing any errors. So it looks like save tweets ran successfully. DAGs. DAG runs. Okay, data profiling. Browse logs. So it's currently running. That's kind of strange. Why is it taking so long? Up for retry. Interesting. Delete. So I believe this isn't going to run successfully because there's already data, because I didn't clear out the I didn't clear these tables out. So let's drop table to let's stop this. How do we stop this? We turn off the server. Okay. Let's turn off the server. So I think the server is just to look at that admin page, and then the scheduler is the one that triggers triggers the code, the tasks to run. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's clear these tables out. Drop table, tweets. Number of emojis. Okay, exit. And now let's run it again. Run the scheduler. Tags. Okay, so we're going to trigger it again manually. Give it a second for it to load. Okay. Trigger DAG. Let's trigger it. Okay. So we just triggered it. Alright. Currently running. Maybe we can monitor the scheduler and see what's going on here. Okay, here we go. Now it's running. So it adds them to the queue. So that's why it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't execute right away. Well, I don't understand why it's running it twice after it gets success on the first time. That's interesting. Excuse me. So it takes a long time to run. Not really sure why it does that. So it adds it to a queue, it pops it off the queue, and then it runs it. So I guess it's got a bunch of stuff to do around it. Okay, so it looks like save tweets worked. No. Okay. So why is it running save number of tweets? That's so strange. Seems like a bit of overkill for like a simple thing like this, but so this is built by Airbnb, and I'm sure they have just, you know, thousands of jobs like the one that we've done here, like pulling tweets. Like maybe they're doing this times like 1,000 or like 10,000. And so when you have so many, like an orchestrator like this is probably super helpful. Okay, so what is it saying? It's trying to log it's trying to log run the psql command. It says it exited with status success. Okay. Up for retry. Tree view. It's really strange that it takes so long. But computer time is much cheaper than human time, so if we can automate with this thing, it's really useful to be able to focus on something else. Refresh. We're running it. We're trying to make it work here. Task duration. So I think it takes a long time when it fails. It retries. It keeps on retrying it a bunch, and so that's why the time it shoots up like that. Save number of emojis, it doesn't take much time at all. So save tweets, it's communicating with the Twitter API, so even when it's successful, it's going to take a little bit longer. Whereas save number of emojis, it's just doing work on the local machine wherever it's running. So log number of emojis, it goes so fast, like it doesn't even show up on the graph. So that's pretty cool. Alright, let's see what's going on here. So it says up for retry. Still not finished. That's very interesting. So it seems to be stuck on running that psql command. That's pretty interesting. Here's the question. So I've tried to run this a bunch of times. Maybe like it's still running previous times when I tried to make it run. Let's check the. I think that might be possible. Like I clicked manual run like 5 or 6 times, and so that might be what we're seeing when when we see all this taking a while. Like maybe there's 4 of them running at the same time. So how could I figure that out? Currently running DAGs. Okay, what about logs? How do I check the logs? Browse. Okay, so number of emojis failed. Interesting. It makes sense if this is running like the first time you run save tweets, it will work. The second time it'll fail because it runs into a duplicate key error. Okay, so let's check. So if this worked, then there should be a log. Okay, cat logs. Okay, so it looks like it worked, and we can just check the database. So it's created the tables. Select star from tweets. Boom. Okay, you guys. Nice. Number of tries. All right, you guys. So we have set up our tweet scraping service with Airflow. And so what that means is if we leave this on, so we've scheduled this to run, we've turned on number of emojis, we've scheduled it to run every 7 days, and Yeah, so if we install this same information like we installed it on our computer on AWS, then this is going to run every 7 days and just update your database every time. So there you go. There you go. Let's review next steps for winning that freelance developer job. Okay, Vim plan. So what do we do today? We added number of emojis database table. We set up Airflow for weekly rerunning, and so that's about 80% of the way there. We can do Docker and AWS to get that final 20%. But I believe this is, I mean, yeah, I think this should be enough to show that that this client should hire me for this freelance developer job. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below here, and I'll do my best to try and answer those. So you guys have a good day.